full house tonight. Every commissioner is here. And they're sharp and ready to discuss things that's going to affect us. So y'all stay tuned. I'm sitting by the guy with the Tift Gazette.
All right, it's 6 o'clock, so we'll call the meeting to order. Ask Commissioner Hughes you would pray for us tonight before we start, and then we'll have a pledge of allegiance.
Let us bow. Dear Heavenly Father, creator of heaven and earth, we just want to say thank you. Lord, in spite of the hurricanes that came to land, Lord, you've still been with us. And for that, we say thank you. Lord, we ask that you keep your loving arms around those that have been affected. Lord, continue to bless them and continue to give them faith, Father, as they go through this troubling time. Lord, we ask that you look upon our nation, look upon our state, God. Lord, just let us do your will. We ask that you continue to bless, continue to heal. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone in the audience who'd like to come speak to us about anything for 5 minutes or less?
I've got to have my water, my voice is going, please forgive me.
That's fine. Just remember, state your name and address for us.
My name is Kimberly Johnson. My address is 2007 Oriole Way, Tifton, Georgia, 31793. After I spoke with you back in August, a meeting was arranged where I could deliver my analysis regarding the recent countywide revaluation to those who may be able to do something about the disparities I discovered. I pointed out the disparities in my own neighborhood that led me to conduct that analysis and investigation for 3 homes sold for approximately $100,000 more than their prior assessment, and those sales were used to reclassify 32 homes in my subdivision, Well Hollow. Sorry. Upon investigation, which I provided to you back in August, and the assessors back in July, all 3 of the homes that sold well above the prior assessed value were vastly improved prior to sale. One even has a new in-ground pool that's referenced in its Zillow ad prior to that sale, and to this day, despite the assessors being aware of it since July, they've done nothing to add that to the property's record card. After I met with you, and prior to my arranged meeting with officials, I discovered something interesting in the Georgia Department of Revenue Local Government Services Division Appraisal Procedure Manual 56011-10. On page 6 of that document, under Rule 5601110.02N, most recent arm's length sale is defined. I could read this to you, but my voice is going. In layman's terms, that section basically says, unless you have some reason to believe that a property has been vastly approved after it's sold, you cannot legally price it for more than its sales price in the year following the sale without violating the statutory limitations imposed by 48.5-23. My analysis reveals that 436 of the 738 sales were valued for more than 100% of their sales price when reviewed in the year following their sale. That's a whopping 59.08%, representing $109,685,127 in value of the tax digest. A few weeks after my last visit with you, I met with Jim Carter, Chad Alexander, Jeff Gibbs, Alex from GMAS, Hayward Beckton, and another gentleman, and please forgive me, I didn't get his name, I don't remember it. That meeting lasted approximately 3 hours. We went over many of the provisions in the DOR Appraisal Procedures Manual and my data. In addressing the pricing of homes beyond the statutory value limitations of 48.523, GMAS admitted that a switch or indicator in their system must have been turned off, resulting in the approximately 436 errant values which violate state law. In addressing the review of sales that were well beyond their prior assessed value, Hayward Beckman indicated that his office his office's policy was to look at the sales record and contact the realtor or closing attorney, though those were not always reliable sources for information. I asked if they ever used other market participants, as referenced on page 51, item 2 of the appraisal procedures manual, which could include the internet, to determine cost information or property condition prior to sale. He indicated they did not. During that particular discussion, Jeff Gibbs chimed in that sales beyond the prior assessed value were irrelevant because we hadn't had a county reval in 19 years. However, after confirming with Chad Alexander, the tax commissioner, I pointed out to Mr. Gibbs that Tift County had only been out of compliance with state regulations for 2 years, which would make sales in excess of the prior assessed value, particularly ones far in excess of the prior assessed value, quite relevant. A final topic I brought up, out of all the homes in my neighborhood, only one had its value reduced to a reasonable amount, from more than $200,000 to $137,000. It is an income-producing rental across the street from me. The owner purchased it for $95,000, spent 6 weeks renovating it after purchase, and is renting it for at least $1,100 a month. It belongs to a property owner who holds numerous properties in Tift County, and who was privileged enough to meet with Hayward Beckton for 5 hours one day to get all his values right. His appeal was filed after mine, and used the evidence I discovered, because I provided it to him, as part of his appeal. His words to me were, and I quote, "We looked at every property and dropped them to what we both thought was fair." It would appear that Mr. Beckton doesn't mind catering to large property holders in an attempt to remedy a vast number of appeals at once, but doesn't have time for average citizens to investigate evidence of errors even after 3 months with the data in his hand. This is the good old...
5 minutes, you can summarize it.
I'm about to wrap it up. That's the good old boy club if I've ever seen it. To date, GMAS has not corrected even one of the homes that sold and are valued at more than 100%. How is it that a company you pay nearly $700,000 cannot accomplish in 1 month what I was able to accomplish in 4 days? Yet they're performing revals in more than 50 Georgia counties. Last Friday I called and talked to Hayward Beckton and to inquire if he'd heard anything from GMAS. He said he had not. I asked him when he expected GMAS to fix their mess. He was offended that I called their negligence to abide by Georgia law a mess. I asked him if the local assessor's office had any intention of fixing those values. He said, "We'd have to check every one of those to see if it was approved after sale." Well, I'm sorry, but isn't valuing property in accordance with the law their job? I asked if I could meet him in person. He said no. They were working appeals and they were received. Well, I filed our appeal the first week of July when they came out. Still haven't got a 30-day letter. Mr. Beckton also indicated that the rollback in millage rate should appease people and their taxes will be less. That doesn't negate the fact that GMAS violated state law and the chief appraiser and board of assessors have been derelict in performance of their duties to assure reassessments are accurate and fair. I'm back here tonight to ask the county commission to consider passing a referendum requesting the Georgia Department of Revenue conduct a peer review of the work performed by GMAS in Tift County. I understand consideration of this request may take time. I'm not asking you to give an answer tonight, but I'm asking you to consider that. We all pay good money for a job that's wrought with inconsistencies and errors. And the county, on behalf of the taxpayers, is due some form of recourse. To date, greater than 8% of tax digest remains under appeal. The tax commissioner's office is unable to send out bills. The assessor's office remains inadequately staffed to review all appeals within a reasonable time frame. And the taxpayers of Tift County are beseeching you to do something about this. Please give my comments your most favorable consideration.
Thank you, Kim.
May I just say one thing? May I go to the button?
Go ahead.
Comment? I ain't gonna tell you. The
State your name and address.
Hayward Fowler, 1082 Park Avenue, Tifton.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for letting me speak. My question is the appraisal, the tax appraisal, is that over and are we moving forward with that? And is there going to be anything legal, as far as y'all know, processed on this or whatever? Or is all this discussion, is that kind of moot now at this point in y'all's mind? Anybody want to make a comment on that?
Well, it's not over. The appellate process is ongoing.
Okay.
As Ms. Johnson pointed out, all 30-day letters, I don't think have been mailed yet. Of course, you're asking the Board of Commissioners questions on something that they may not readily have answers to.
Okay.
And there's an explanation for that. It's not because they're
Yes,
derelict.
I understand.
The Board of Assessors, by Georgia law, set up to operate independently from the Board of Commissioners.
I understand.
But we are in contact with them. We know where we're at as far as where the appeals are. There's still a lot of appeals to hear. GMAS, when we met that day, Ms. Clark provided a large amount of data and good data. I spoke with Hayward today. GMAS is going to review her and consider an appeal, and have promised us to have something back shortly after the first of next month, so that we can see what, at least how they address her concerns. So it is taking time, and just like anybody else, we would like it for it to be more timely, but it is what it is from a timing perspective. But say that it's over, and that you can't say that because there's still appeals to be heard, not only by the Board of Assessors, but the Board of Equalization and potentially Superior Court if somebody chooses to adhere to or to utilize all three steps of the appellate process.
Thank you for your progress and work in looking into this, because it is a very important issue with many people. And I've been very pleased with your approach to this and what you've done.
Thank you. All right, anyone else in the audience like to speak to us? All right, seeing no one, we'll move on to number 4, items to be added to the agenda. We have a resolution 2024-08, amended surplus vehicles. Miriam, you want to go through that? Just enough
You
to,
want to just add it and then move?
okay. Do we have a motion to add this item to the agenda?
So moved.
Second. All right. Commissioner Webb, second. All in favor? All right. And then the second item is Georgia Power Agreement for lights at EV Hamilton. We have a motion to add that to the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Same two. All in favor? All right. Thank you. All right. Item 5 on the agenda is the minutes for the work session on September 3rd, 2024, the executive session on September 3rd, 2024, and the regular session is September 9th, 2024. Everybody's had a chance to review those minutes, then we would entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Scott made a second. All in favor of approving the minutes? All right, thank you. All right, we put everything on the regular agenda at the workshop last week, so 8.1, lighting agreements with Georgia Power to replace existing street lighting with LED lights. Jason?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is an agreement with Georgia Power to replace all of our street lights in the Special Tax District and our street lights throughout the county with LED street lights. Won't cost us anything. It's a claim is going to be around a $900 a month savings for us. When the light goes out now, it will alert them at their office, and they will know to come fix it. Nobody will have to go look at it at night or anything like that.
Okay, any questions?
And I know I asked this question last week, I just simply don't remember. Cockwood MC, did you say we would follow?
Cockwood MC, we will follow up with them when they are offering this, but right now they're not offering this.
All right, do we have a motion?
So,
To approve. Second. Commissioner Hester, second. All in favor of approving?
Thank you, Commissioner.
8.2, lease agreement with Coastal Plain Area Economic Opportunity Authority, Inc., Head Start, for 64 Tipton Alvarado Road. Mr. Carter.
Mr. Chairman, as I explained in the in the work session, this lease agreements with Coastal Plains Area Economic Opportunity Authority, on 64 Tift Road used, to house Head Start services, and it has been since I've been here. So I don't know how long it predates me, but, since 2007. We utilize 2 buildings. You can see those there, one's approximately 11,220 square feet, the other one's 2016. Agreement runs for a term of a year, and it automatically renews for 2 successive years, a total of 3 years, and they pay exactly $1 in rent per year, Mr. Chairman. Staff recommends approving and continuing that agreement.
All right, any questions? Do we have a motion to approve the lease agreement with Coastal Plains?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Wood, second. All in favor? All right, thank you. Item 8.3, alcohol beverage license application submitted by Tina Shaw for Sri Jai Tata 1210 LLC located at 4831 US Highway 82 West.
This is an application that was tabled at the last meeting. A letter was sent to the applicant regarding y'all tabling it and your concern about the applicant living in Texas. Mr. Shaw, in the meantime, has provided a lease agreement and a Georgia Power bill showing where the applicant has those properties and that utility in their name and Tata.
Is the sheriff look at it, making any different recommendations? All right, do we have a motion for the alcohol beverage license?
That's in my district, and just because you can show a lease and a power bill doesn't mean that you live there. So I make a motion that we decline it until we've got verified that someone is living it, whatever this residence is.
All right, we have a motion to decline. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, Commissioner Hughes, second. All in favor of declining the alcohol beverage license for Pina Shop? One decline. All right. Those against declining? All right, 8.4, alcohol beverage.
5-1, Mr. Chairman.
5-1. All right, 8.4, alcohol beverage license application submitted by Pete Patel for Big Red Management LLC located at 714 Salem Church Road.
Yes, sir. This location has a license and there's potential new owners. They're applying for a retail malt beverage and a retail wine package. The sheriff has reviewed the application and recommends approval.
All right, any questions? All right, do we have a motion for approval of this license? Do we have a motion for decline of this license?
I make a motion we approve. I was seeing whose district that was in, that's Salem Church Road, so
I was
that's fine.
searching for something. All right, we have a motion to approve. We have a second.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Stalnaker, second. All in favor of approving this license, raise your hand, please. All right, thank you. 8.5, meeting date changes for November 2024. Ms. Jordan?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, the work session in November falls on Election Day, and the regular session falls on Veterans Day. So staff is recommending that we have the work session on Monday and the regular session on Tuesday. So it would be November 4th and November 12th.
Questions? Motion to approve this change dates for the meetings next month.
So, well, they motion right up on that one.
I'm telling you.
I'll second it.
I heard Donnie because he's louder than Melissa, so we'll go with Donnie and Greg. All right, all in favor of changing the dates for next month's meeting? Okay, all right, and we'll make sure we get that information out to the public. All right, 8.6, appointment to Animal Control Board.
Yes, sir. We have one vacancy. Staff is recommending that Miss Elizabeth Daniel, who currently serves as the alternate on this board, to be moved to the post 3 position. And we have an application from Mr. Josh Rousey, and the recommendation is to appoint him as the alternate, and I have no other applications on file.
Okay. So I will open the floor for nominations for the position on the Board of Animal Control. So we have nominations.
So consideration of Miss Elizabeth Daniel, Mr. Chairman.
That's correct, for the position on the board.
I would like to make a motion.
Nominate.
I would like to nominate Ms. Daniels for that position.
All right, any other nominations? All right, I'll close the floor for nomination and ask for a motion to appoint Ms. Elizabeth Daniel to the Board of Animal Control.
I would like to nominate Ms. Daniels to that position.
Motion to, for Miss Daniel.
Motion.
Motion, yes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Who's it? Paul seconded, all right. All in favor of appointing Elizabeth Daniel to the Board of Animal Control? All right, thank you. Now, open, we need to nominate him, just like we would, okay. We'll open the floor for nominations for the alternate on the Board of Animal Control.
And who is that?
Mr. Josh Rouse.
Josh Rouse.
Josh Rouse.
Okay. I would like to nominate Mr. Josh Rousey.
All right, any other nominations? Here none, we'll close the floor for nomination and ask for a motion to appoint Josh Rousey as the alternate on the Board of Animal Control.
I would like to make a motion that we appoint Mr. Josh Rousey to that position. As alternate.
All right, have a second?
Second.
Greg Wood second, all in favor? All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if we could, before we get to the next item on the agenda, which is renovation of the Gazette building, could we go ahead and consider the two that we're doing as additions to the agenda, and then so that Mr. McCall can be last?
Okay, sure. All right, we'll go to what will now be 8.8, the resolution 2024-08, amended surplus vehicle. Maria?
The airport authority is in need of a courtesy car. The one they have now is becoming costly with all the repairs it's requiring. If you'll remember at the last meeting, we surplused 4 Dodge Chargers from the Sheriff's Department. So one of those Chargers, I think, can fill the need that they have at the airport. So this is an amended resolution to unsurplus that vehicle, or put it back in inventory.
Okay. Any questions?
Well, it'd be twofold. We unsurplus it, and then we actually we resurplus it from the authority. We just give it
Because
to
it's
the
gonna
authority.
stay in the county's name.
So what we do with the ones that they have? We
We'll
put
sell it
that,
on GovDeals. It's already been transferred to their name, so they'll sell it on GovDeals.
This is where out.
Yeah.
It was old when they had it probably since 2016.
All right, any other questions? All right, we have a motion to approve unsurplusing this vehicle.
So moved.
We have a second?
second.
Or Commissioner Reagan, second. All in favor? All right, thank you. Okay, item 8.9 would be the Georgia Power Agreement for the lights at E.B. Hamilton.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we finished with the initial phase of E.B. Hamilton, which was paving of the infrastructure, the roads in and out, and the sidewalks. The last step is lighting that infrastructure, and we looked at several options. Georgia Power currently provides an option where it works like a lease. They continue to own those lights, but they give us a beneficial or a lower than normal per kilowatt charge. And then they put the lighting in, and then they maintain those lights. So anytime the lighting goes out, needs to be fixed, needs to be changed, Georgia Power does that. So the cost to the county initially up front is $157,783.78. That is to help with the one-time fee of the installation. They put lights in, but we're kind of paying for the installation of that. And over the long term, because of the kilowatt savings and the repair cost on those lights, as they maintain that, this is the best fiscal deal. And we can't bid this because there's only one power supply provider in E.B. Hamilton, that is Georgia Power. So they are a sole source provider. But we ran the numbers, and based on what we've been paying and what we will pay this way, it's much more cost effective.
But is there like a lease payment in addition to the?
No, once we do that, we just pay service cost and the regulated cost. So it'll be our normal bill. So we'd be paying roughly $2,279 a month for lighting that, which is less than what we're paying now, just with straight kilowatt usage and us owning lights. Now, this does not include the athletic lighting. That'll be part of this this next phase, we'll bid that separately. And I think Georgia Power is gonna bid on that. They're gonna give us a bid like this, but they're also gonna give us a straight up bid for like Musco lighting or whatever brand of sports lighting they have, and there'll be other vendors that bid on that as well. We'd have to consider their deal that is similar to this, you know, kind of independently, because at least we'll have to evaluate it independently, see if it makes as much sense there as it does here.
Okay.
The staff recommends approving this, just based on the fiscal aspects of it, Mr. Chairman.
All right, any other questions? All right, we have a motion to approve the lighting agreement with Georgia Power, ABM. So moved. Second? Second. Okay. Melissa, you're a little slow tonight, I heard Paul first.
I am.
All right, all in favor of approving the lighting agreement with Georgia Power? All right, thank you. All right, now we'll go back to item 8.7, the renovation of the Gazette building. Mr. Corning?
Mr. Chairman, we have Mr. Mac McCall here. He's an architect. McCall and Associates. And as you know, y'all chose him to help us not only with renovations to the Gazette building, but to renovations to our historic courthouse and to the, in addition to that courthouse as well. You've seen those preliminary plans. So the first step, as you know, of doing that is to purchase the Gazette building. And the first step that we do it would be renovate the Gazette building, because we would need to empty the courthouse, because we want to, it's cheaper for us to do the renovations to the historic courthouse and build the addition at the same time than it is to try to do those steps. So to have some place to hold court and move the clerk's functions to, we're going to renovate the Gazette building first. And that's what you're asking or looking at tonight. So Mac.
Good evening. Thank you for your time. As Mr. Carter said, I'm here to present to you the design for the Gazette building. And as he said, this design is to serve two purposes. One is the temporary use of this building as court function and the clerk of the court. And basically we have to completely empty everything in the existing courthouse out, including all the long-term file storage that's in the basement. There's a lot down there, and all of the staff, clerk staff, and the courtroom function we have to move over. So the way the Gazette is designed, and I'll come forward maybe point out, so the center portion here of the building is really, it's originally, we believe this is the original portion, was added onto here, and then the third portion was added on over here, but it's essentially two barrel vault truss structures. This is a single low slope, single slope structure here off to the side. The center portion in the beginning during the temporary use will be the clerk of the court offices. There'll be lobby space, there'll be space for their staff, desks and everything. There's an office space for the clerk himself, and then there's storage space around that, break room, staff bathrooms, things like that. The side barrel vault over here down the center will be temporarily used as the courtroom. Basically, we will have to vacate as much out of the existing courtroom on the second floor as possible, because the plans for that is to take it back to its original historic character, take the old drop ceilings out, things like that. So we have to move all the pews out of that space, all of those things. So we are going to try and reuse as much of that temporarily while we're under construction and put it in here. One, we feel like it'll be better well cared for than stacking all of that historic pews, all of that in a storage space, but also we get to utilize it. So this will be a temporary courtroom space and function as temporary courtroom space. The way the spaces are designed is in the back, we've got space for temporary holding for prisoners. We've got a space in here for a temporary judge's chamber. We've got space for temporary witness and space for a temporary jury assembly or jury meeting room in the back. There are bathrooms off the side. There's a rear entrance for secure entrance of it. So it all, and we did meet with the clerk and one of the judges and presented this and went over it. They had some very good comments that made us shift some rooms around a little bit, but other than that, it has been initially reviewed and approved. And so it functions great for a temporary space while the building is under construction.
Ask you this, I don't.
Yes.
The judges approved this for security purposes, right? It has two entrances, is that what it has?
Yes.
For now?
Yes, it has a rear entrance and then it has a front entrance. So while court is in session, People will come in this front door, and we have a space off to the side where there will be a security officer desk and a metal detector for people to process through going into the courtroom. That front door would be locked during jury. We have a front bathroom up there for people waiting also. So yes, they have reviewed it. Again, those were some of their comments about adding security and then changing some of the rooms in the back. And yes, they've reviewed it and approved it.
That third side, Mac, the one that is closest to us and you're facing, would actually be, long-term would be storage for documents, and that's how it'd be utilized after we
Yes.
we move that to where the storage would be. It's to your left, as you're looking at, Commissioners, the space there that you see, that will be storage for records and,
So property records, things like that, that people will be coming to research to go into and access while this place is functioning as a burger court. We have a doorway in. There will be space where that will be utilized and function. And then there will also be the other court records, but it is all under secure lock and key such that it's actually controlled by the clerks overall and watched over by them. Then, once the long-term courthouse gets finished and the annex gets finished and all of those ongoing daily property records that are accessed on a regular daily basis, the court records that are accessed on a regular daily basis, that stuff will move back into the courthouse. And then the long-term, what's left over will be the long-term archive. So you will empty some of this space back out again, but then it'll give you space to infill back as things process through and those records then become eventually archived.
right, we had, that gives us storage for other offices rather than just the courts. And so, we have other needs for long-term storage, so we'll be utilizing that. And I don't think I pointed out, and I was a little bit off kilter, but this long-term will be new home for the Board of Elections. So when you're looking at I think the board Matt's got to your left there, it shows more of what the building's going to look like, and I think it actually shows Board of Elections on it.
Yes, yes. So the center portion would eventually serve as the Board of Elections. The side will be a large multi-purpose meeting room. So the idea is that the elections office operates back here. They have a way to secure and lock down their voter registration machine, the voter machines. They have a secure lock and key area for the voter registration records. Their staff area, there's a larger waiting space for whenever there is a vote going on. You have your where people come in and they register, or they wait, they do their pre-registration, and then this room, which would no longer be used as a courtroom, will be a large open room, and that will serve for the main voter precinct. And that's where the voting machines would get set up for that vote that happens that day. There is a side room over here off to the side that functions as the early voting chamber, where they typically keep voting machines set up all year round for when those early votes start. You've got a month or a couple weeks of early voting that happen. They have a place for that to happen overall. When this large multi-purpose meeting room over here is not being used as a voter room, the idea is that it also can be served as what's called a jury assembly room. So when you have a lot of, you have to bring 100 or more jurors together in order to gather them, to then break them off and send them to the individual courtrooms. This gives you a large place to bring all those people into one main room and gather them to then send them across to eventually what's finished will be the courthouse, to the individual judge rooms. Yes, sir.
Are those the doors you go in and out?
There are doors here up front. There's secondary doors over here that would serve. And so the idea is that when this is a voting office and this is being used as say a jury assembly room, people can come in and out of the side doors right here.
The back door.
Yes, sir. There's a back door right in the back.
Okay.
Yes, sir. For rear egress. Yes, sir.
There's two roll-up doors to it.
Yes, there is a back roll-up door back here for when they have to take voter machines out and they have to send them out to the other precincts. They can process them through this roll door in the back, and all of that is within their secure lock and key area back here. There's also a main back door such that if you've got people that are bringing in large amounts of records or doing things like that, that will also be under lock and key. And we are planning on card swipe access so that you can track and control who's got access to individual rooms on certain control points within the building overall. So, and as I was saying, this would serve as so your voter assembly room, but then it would also, on other days, it could also be used as a large meeting room for the county. things like that, other flexible meeting spaces. So this kind of gives you an idea of what we're looking at for the exterior of the building. We are redoing right now it has some soft canopies that are out front on the front of the building. We are going back and putting in a hard canopy over the main front entrance right here. We're taking out those little built-in planters and redoing the glass there, redoing the front doors, and then doing a smaller lower canopy over those side doors. Adding some signage, taking advantage of kind of the architectural character of the building overall to add some signage and some lighting. We would go back and re-stucco the building and change it to more of a smooth finish stucco and repaint the building more to match the character of what you've got going on down here in the historic core of downtown here, with sort of something that either matches the courthouse or this building, maybe like a light gray color or a white color, something like that. But adding a hard canopy there, signage, lighting, things like that. So that kind of gives you two different views of that. On the interior, we are planning on completely opening it up and exposing that steel truss barrel vault system. So it'll be a large, open, high ceiling space overall. You'll have exposed ductwork running through there. We'll have pendant lights that hang down, things like that. So we're trying to take advantage of kind of that industrial kind of historic type warehouse character overall that you've got there, and take advantage of that architecturally and make that work with what you've got and what your needs are overall.
I like the idea of it being open, the top part of it, but how efficient is that with the cost of electricity and heating?
Yes, ma'am. So one of the things that we are doing is the roof sheathing and all the roofing on top of it on that building is very old and in very bad condition. We will be taking off that roof sheathing completely and putting all new sheathing on, and as a part of that, we will be adding 6 inches of insulation over the roof deck on top of the building. So we are adding a tremendous amount of insulation in that roof system overall, which is really where the building needs its most amount of insulation. So we will be tightening up that building, and we will be making it a lot more efficient than what it is currently.
Any other questions?
One thing, just way down the line for design, I think the final end, that each section serves a different purpose, should be totally isolated from the other one. The doors come from one another, I think should go. Should be a solid wall.
We've got we need to take advantage of this back egress right here, doorway wise for fire egress for the staff to go out right there. And temporarily, while this is serving as a courtroom, we would need those doors right there.
That's what I say, at the end, I think each section needs to be isolated as much as possible.
So, Matt, if I could just briefly, Mr. Wood, so I think the plan is, Matt, can you correct me if I'm wrong, once this becomes elections, then folks will come in here on election day, and this will be a holding place where they
Right.
sit. So then, once it's their time to vote, they come in here, so you've got people coming in to vote, and then people leaving to vote. So you basically are doing this instead of having them double back into the same area.
Right.
So, but these doors will be, just like our doors here, they're gonna be under lock, a magnetic, electronic lock. So these doors can be opened and locked and used accordingly.
So in other words, they'll walk in one door, leave out another.
That is
They-
correct.
They're not
So
going
they're
back
not
out.
coming in and then coming back out, so you've got that group. So what you're
Yes.
doing is moving them in and out as efficiently as you can.
Well, like the side door,
Over here,
for record keeping,
yeah, that could go,
that needs to go.
that could go away, because this is gonna become eventually.
Put
Yes.
one in the front and the back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And really, I think, the two that are in the back, which is where the roll-up door is, and this door, would be all we would have on this. I don't know that we need a front door for record.
Sure.
Maybe fire. You might need another exit out front.
So you're saying add another door here?
Yes.
Uh,
Close up the double doors to the side.
This is coded as a storage space, so even though it is fairly large, the occupancy classification of how many occupants in a storage is like 1 per like 500 square. It's
Yeah,
very
right.
large. So we can get away with the one door, and yes, we could close that off and have the one entrance and one exit if that is what you wanted to do long term.
Two.
We'll have a look at
I
it.
mean, you know where I work. Someone getting stuck in that room, there's fire near the doors.
Sure.
they're stuck.
Sure.
Another exit.
Okay.
Go out at the end, but
Okay.
secure so people can't, no hokey pokey.
We'll look at it, what would, thought of sense, why I close this and open this up, and I'll get back to you.
$2.50.
If y'all do look at this, I'd like to turn it around so that everybody out here can see,
Yeah,
can see what you
One
guys
other
are
question
seeing.
I think we confirmed earlier, because I'll be asking, the crepe myrtles basically will go, but there's a line of more mature trees
Yes.
to the south that will be retained.
Yes, so we
That's
talked
the
about the
plan.
crepe myrtles that are right along the property line between this building and that building. Those can stay, or plan to stay. And the line of oaks that are going out the end of the building towards the side street, in the street, sorry, those are planned to stay. The crepe myrtles that are right in front of the building, that are kind of blocking the view of the very front, we are planning on taking those out and changing that to something, a lower down planting there that would kind of open the view, open the front of the building up more and make it more inviting overall.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, what staff's looking for tonight is a motion to allow us to go out to bid on this, and so that we can start the bid process. Once the bids come back, we'll bring it back in front of us. So what I need is a motion, approval of the board to go ahead and submit this, the Gazette portion of the project to bid.
All right. So we have a motion to send out the bid, the Gazette portion of the renovation.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Mr. Rivers, second. All in favor? All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Matt.
Matt.
Yes.
Can we hold on to these?
Yes, I'm gonna leave them right here for you.
Awesome.
All right.
Mr. Carter, you have any other comments?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Late this afternoon, a little along the lines of what we were talking about at the beginning of the meeting, which is property taxes. House Bill 581 has been in the news and will be part of, I can pass out sheets of paper here, on the ballot with consideration. On the November ballot, ACCG in conjunction with GMA are asking member counties and member cities to pass or send this out to the press. It's a news release. Association of County Commissioners of Georgia announces educational resources ahead of general election. The Association of County Commissioners, also known as the Georgia's County Association, providing educational resources concerning House Bill 581, 2024, legislation that made many changes to Georgia's real property tax law. House Bill 581 is contingent upon passage of the constitutional amendment from House Resolution 1022, posed as question number 1 on November 5th ballot in this year's general election. Since the legislation has generated many questions, ACCG has compiled a host of resources, including a detailed bill summary, a joint PowerPoint presentation with the Georgia Municipal Association, and a frequently asked questions document published in conjunction with GMA. In addition, the two associations are hosting a joint webinar on Wednesday, October 16th at 1 p.m. to help educate county and city officials so they might better explain the bill's implication to their constituents. So that's what you have, which is what I received late this afternoon, so I don't know if it can be any more timely than that. So I went ahead and just to make it a little easier, so when we publish this, those are links that will be in there. So if we put this on our webpage and that kind of stuff, citizens will be able to click on it and receive information that's being provided by ACCG and GMA. But I went ahead and copied copies for you guys of the frequently asked questions. I know some of our commissioners are getting only the internet confused. So this is the list of the frequently asked questions. So y'all can study those up, be prepared, and I also made a copy of the PowerPoint, but our citizens.
Commissioner Hassan has a question.
Yes, sir.
Jim, unless my mind was somewhere, did you, let them know that ACCG is not telling us, they're not saying they're for it or against it?
That's absolutely correct. ACCG nor GMA
Right.
is taking a political stance on this one way or the other. But they, just like this board, believes that a better educated voting populace can make decisions in the most effective and expedient manner. So that's the reason we're condoning providing this information. I'll share that with you. So with your agreement, I'll have the clerk disseminate this information to get it in the morning. Like I said, I got it about 4:28 this afternoon, so it took me up till meeting time to get it all copied for you.
You did a good job.
So, but there it is for you to look at, and unless anybody has reservations about it, we'll start disseminating this to the press in the morning. And as Commissioner Hester so definitely pointed out, the county nor ACCG nor DMA are taking a position pro or con on this. This is the Constitution Amendment. You'll get to vote on it when you go to vote, just like every other citizen. And I think the frequently asked questions and the PowerPoint does a good job of explaining.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Mr. Rowland? All, you good? Ready? Good. Stan? Listen.
Yes, I'm glad Commissioner Hester asked that question. That ACCG nor GMA are saying that they are for or against this. Any of us that have children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, you know how they can probably pit the adults against each other. One can say, Mama said this, or Dad said I can do this. Children do that. I just want to say thank you to this board. When we make decisions, we don't look at if you're a Republican or if you're a Democrat. We look at the issue and what's best for our constituents. So I just want to publicly say thank you, board, for doing that, because as a past ACCG president traveling the state, I saw where a lot of boards didn't do that. They pit each other against each other on issues. So, board, thank you.
Thank you for that comment.
Can I just say, since she said that, you know, when I go to class, it takes me a while to learn after, man. But I just learned some of what she just said. We was in class, and they talked about, in the class I was in, they talked about the board being divided, how the board in different counties being divided because of the Republican and the Democrat. And I stood up and I told them, not our board in Tift County, not the commissioner board in Tift County. We don't look at because I'm a Democrat or he's a Republican or vice versa. We look at the issue and what's best for the county. And when she said that, it just would make me to say that, you know, and I enjoy this board for doing that. And we're going to keep this board the same as it is.
Mr. Hester, I would have them say nobody even knows you're a Republican.
Oh, did you get that straight? I am not. I don't want to let you know. But we're together here.
Mr. Carter, that was a good one.
But that's why I like the board.
We take care of it. No need for executive session, correct?
No, sir.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Oh, yeah, we have a second. All right, I heard Commissioner Hester, Commissioner Hughes, I heard them. So, all in favor of adjourning? All right.
Mr. Hester,
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Williams, don't forget, I got to record you.
Yes.
Let's get good talk.
What comes first, the sale, evaluation?
Oh, man.
I got a speech.